Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, Kyle Tucker makes his big decision, and he's going to end up with, wait for it, you didn't expect this one, the Dodgers. So the Dodgers kind of coming out of nowhere then and pretty much blowing everyone away with an insane $240 million. Now, there's a lot of different caveats and little intricacies to this deal, so we'll kind of break the whole deal down. But again, the Dodgers coming in once again, blowing everyone else away. And this is after it was rumored that the Mets were offering Tucker a contract for 5 years worth about $50 million per season. Well, the Dodgers actually doing even better than that. Again, the annual average value of this deal puts it at about $57 million per year. So this guy is making Juan Soto type money, just a little bit better, and is just right now pretty much under Ohtani in terms of getting paid per year for a guy who's a very good player, multiple-time All-Star. I'm not going to take anything away from that, but again, this is not a guaranteed future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it type of player here. This is not Barry Bonds, this is not Ken Griffey Jr., this is not Aaron Judge even, but getting an insane contract. But again, the Dodgers has been spending, and I guess they want to go for that three-peat, and they're making the same as usual. So we'll break the whole thing down. Of course, how this relates to Cody Bellinger, because we figure once one of these shoes drop, the other would drop. So we'll kind of just touch base on that as well. So before we get started here, make sure you subscribe to this audio podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, wherever you get your favorite podcast. And there's also the YouTube version of the show. So go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees. And a situation like this with Tucker, or if there's some news comes out with Bellinger, you want to get my instant reaction right away, make sure you're an audio podcast subscriber. Again, it's updated much more frequently than the YouTube channel. So it's getting back, a couple of days ago, it kind of seemed like a conclusion that, even the Mets were kind of shedding some payroll and, let Diaz walk and didn't bother offering a contract to Pete Alonso that, maybe the Mets might come in now and want to make some noise there. Obviously, their fans not really happy this offseason. And yes, the Mets seemingly have been kicking the tires on a little bit on Bellinger, but it seemed like a couple of days ago, it was out there that the Mets were offering Tucker about a 4-year deal, maybe up to 5 years, but it was really about the money per year, which is about $50 million per year. And it seemed like possibly the Mets were going to come in and kind of make some late noise and steal him and get a little thunder over the Yankees. But again, just announced that Tucker will be going to the Dodgers. It's kind of a bizarre deal, so it's a 4-year deal only. So, so I think a lot of these teams are probably, a little worried about, signing the guys in 7 or 8 years. And then, we all know the usual stuff, like with the Stanton contract and with the A-Rod contract. Like, yeah, you got a couple good years out of it. But then later on, when these guys start breaking down a little bit, now you have to carry these guys around. They're making $25-30 million per year, and they're only playing half the season because they're on the IL. So, this might be the future of baseball, and, Tucker is kind of in a weird position. He's 28. I mean, he wants his long-term deal, but a lot of these teams don't want to give a player a long-term deal because they just want to be hanging on to guys. They rather front-load money per season, so you're not carrying the guy around for 7-8 years. And even if you got to pay him a lot per year, it seems like maybe that's happy for both sides, and it gives Tucker an opportunity to get yet another big contract somewhere down the road. So how the deal works out, there's going to be opt-outs after years 2 and 3. So at that point, Tucker could still be 31 years old or 33 years old. And if he wants to opt out his deal, if he thinks he's worth more per year and wants to get another contract, he can opt out. There's a $64 million signing bonus with that. And of that all, $30 million of that money is deferred. And we've seen the Dodgers do that with a couple other players, such as Ohtani, and I think we had to do Yamamoto as well, deferring money. So, they're all signing all these big players to big contracts. But again, they might be paying these guys for the next 30 years, and maybe they cross their fingers. They hope the guy dies or something in a plane crash and have to pay him. But maybe you have to pay the wife. I'm not exactly sure how that works. But again, if he stays into the deal the full way, again, this is looking up about $240 million guaranteed money. And if you want to see how he compares with his compatriots, it gives him an annual average value of this contract at $57 million per year, which is now just second under Ohtani, who's getting about $70 million per year. But it puts Tucker making more money than both Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. And again, Tucker's a very good player, but he's not on the level of Soto and Judge, but he's certainly making more money. And if he does well and decides to opt out, again, he'll have the option after year 2 to redo that when he'll still be a relatively young guy, whether you're 31 or 33, to get us some sort of other big kind of freakish contract there. So Tucker cashing in at the right time. And look, this is a player who, full-time All-Star, is probably his best years about, maybe 3 or 4 years ago with the Houston Astros. Last season, only played in 136 games. So he missed some games there. He missed some time as well in 2024. Only played 78 games. So here's a guy that's still a good player, but has been banged up a little bit. And if you just look at his numbers last year, again, nothing really jumps off the chart. A 266 batting average, 22 home runs, 73 RBIs, 25 stolen bases, OPS 841, slugging, under 500, so 464. This is a very, very good player, but this is not an Ohtani, Judgy, or even Sodian type of player. Yet he's making the best that type of money. So it's just a little bit of a head scratcher. I mean, look, if the Dodgers want to pay it, it's up to them. And, no one's putting a gun to the Dodgers' head to pay this type of money, but seemingly they're doing. And I guess they just want to, again, like they've been doing the past few off seasons, dominating the off season and ultimately dominating the season as they're going to try to be the first team since the Yankees in the late 90s and early 2000s to go for the three-peat, and this is a good piece to add it. Now, Dodgers didn't really have a great, or at least up to their standards of a good regular season last year. This team struggled a little bit, but, they kind of did their thing in the playoffs. I mean, Toronto almost stole it from them, but won a pretty thrilling 7-game World Series over the Blue Jays, and now they add Kyle Tucker, and, of course, about a month ago or so, added Edward Diaz, who opted out of his Mets deal, and seemingly, just for $3 million more, went to go play for the Dodgers. So now, this Dodger team who's on the verge of their third championship, again, have added Kyle Tucker, very good high-quality outfielder, all-star type of player there. Again, he's not a generational player there, but still you add him, and now you're adding Edward Diaz as well there, and you're pretty much shooting yourself in for a three-peat on that one. But still, just the whole thing is this kind of earth-shattering. I mean, he's going to get $57 million per year. What's Bo Bichette going to get? What's Bellinger going to ultimately? Obviously, it's going to drive up the price pretty much for everyone across the board there. So we'll have to remain to see what how that affects that. Or a team like Stevie Cohen, if obviously he might look at Bellinger plan B, and if all right, well, we plan on giving Tucker $50 million, we don't get that. Now Bellinger's asking for about maybe 34, 35. Well, hey, we got this extra money around. Let's just order from 37, 38 and get him that way. And I don't know if the Yankees would want to match that or not, and pretty much I don't think so, because again, as much as I like Bellinger, and I kind of ranted this on my latest YouTube episode, I made the statement before, they're putting a contract out there that seems quite fair, and if he doesn't want to sign, he doesn't want to be. At a certain point, you got to cut bait and just look for other options, or just, again, as meant for starting the year with someone like Dominguez in left field and just taking it from there, and you can make some decisions and trades moves later on. And if you just look at Bellinger, again, we kind of broke it down in the latest YouTube episode, seemingly where the Yankees are right now. They're offering a 5-year deal, which we kind of figured that was going to be. I mean, seemingly Bellinger and Boris want something around 7 years or more. The Yankees aren't going to go there, but the Yankees are thinking about including a few things such as a signing bonus, and kind of equally like what Tucker got, an opt-out. We don't know exactly after what year he could opt out of the deal, but probably something similar, like maybe after year 2 or year 3, if Bellinger's doing well and he feels like he could get a bigger or better contract out there or more per year, he could opt out of his deal, and again, the Yankees might have to include that. So right at the moment, again, probably the sort of the latest news regarding the Yankees, that somewhere the deal is probably going to be worth about 5 years, a little bit over $30 million per year. So you may be looking at like $31 or $33 million per year, and that might just be the Yankees' final offer, which was their quote-unquote second offer. And we'll see if Bellinger wants to stay here or not. Again, they're kind of doing what they're doing if the guy wants to stay or not, man. They're kind of putting up the money, but, do something with the Dodgers doing this, like to give Bellinger like $40 million or $45 million. Again, Bellinger's a very good player, but he's not worth the play at that level. He's not a Sodian type of player. He's not an Ohtani type of player. He's not a Judgian type of player to command that contract. And neither is Kyle Tucker, but Dodgers just want to spend crazy like that. Hey, it's up to them. They want to do that. It doesn't mean that the Yankees have to do that. I know Yankee fans think, how can you doing this? The Dodgers spending the money. Why can't you spend this money? But you can't just have every guy in this team making like $40 million at each position. And again, Dodgers are doing all this sort of stuff. They're deferring a lot of money. Well, can the Yankees do that? Yeah, you could do that to a degree, but at the same time, too, you just can't be stupid as well. Then you just want to be signing people to long-term deals to make them happy. And then you have what you had with the Yankees. You go back from those years like 2013 to almost up to 2016, where he's had a team that is almost marooned because you had a bunch of guys under contract. They weren't even playing half the year because a lot of them were hurt, and you kind of had this ragtag team together that, all right, put a respectable 90 wins there. Wasn't total garbage show, but at no point you thought they had any serious contention to do anything in the playoffs and make a World Series or even make the playoffs there. So you kind of have to balance that out there. So I kind of understand that point of view. But again, this is what the Dodgers are doing over the past couple of seasons with Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, now Tucker there. Pretty insane, but they're pulling it off, and they're pretty much looking like a shoo-in to three-peat for the 2026 season. So for the Yankees, we announced some of the dates. Got pitches and catches reporting on February 11th, and that's about 26 days from now. So will Bellinger be a teammate or not? We don't know yet. Rest of the squad got to be there by the 15th of February, and then the first full squad workout is February 16th, and games start off February 20th, and that first one is against the Baltimore Orioles. So that's the episode. Dodgers and Kyle Tucker, kind of shocking baseball. Just again, with kind of a mega deal there with a lot of caveats there. So he's not guaranteed to stay there for the 4 years. He can opt out there, but again, you're looking at about $240 million guaranteed. Some of it deferred there, but just a mega contract for a guy who's a really good player, but definitely getting more money than he's definitely worth there. But if Dodgers want to spend it, that's up to them. We'll catch you next time.